So a little bit of background to this comment. I did a video in which I discussed how prayer doesn't work. I told people if you feel like you're a better person because you pray, then pray. If praying helps you get through tough times, then pray. If praying helps you cope with bad situations in your life, then pray. I got no problem with people who pray. My wife prays. If that's what helps you get through the day, then pray. But at the end of the day, that's all prayer does, is it makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you've done something, or that you're in a better place, or you've contributed in some way, shape, or form, but you haven't actually done anything. When you pray for the victims of a mass shooting, you haven't done anything for the victims of the mass shooting. You've just prayed to make yourself feel better about it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But don't pretend like you did something, right? That was the whole purpose of the video, was pointing out that prayer didn't work. And I pointed out a whole bunch of different examples about how if prayer worked, then nobody's grandmother would die, and everybody would hit the lottery, and we'd all get that promotion we wanted, and our kids would never get sick, and our dogs would never die, and all kinds. Our team would win the Super Bowl every year. And then this person comes in and says, wrong again, Tom. Prayer does work. I've seen it. I've been on the receiving end of an answered prayers numerous times. Okay. You prayed for something to happen, and it happened. And in your mind, you correlate the two. I prayed, and it happened, therefore my prayer was answered. How many prayers have you levied? How many prayers have you offered up to your God that weren't answered? How many millions, fuck that, how many billions of prayers go unanswered day in and day out? How many people are in a hospital right now praying that their spouse is going to pull through the surgery and they don't? How many people right now are praying that starving children in Africa get food and they don't? How many people are praying that their dog pulls through their cancer treatment and they don't have to put them down this year in 2025, and that's not going to be the case? How many people are praying for that promotion and they're not going to get it? How many people are praying that they hit the lottery because they're in tough financial times and they never will? What you're talking about, my friend, is a coincidence. You asked for something and it happened, right? That doesn't mean your prayer was answered. If you believe your prayer was answered, then aces, that's fine. You can believe your prayer was answered and it makes you feel better. I got no problem with that. But to say that I'm wrong because something that you prayed for actually came true, and therefore that's proof that prayer works, is bullshit. And here's the deal. As an atheist, one of the things that I did almost 30 years ago was I sought out answers. Right? I voluntarily lived in a Christian mission in southern Indiana for 6 months so I could talk to the preacher, the religious man, I should say, who runs the mission every day and pick his brain about God and religion. And I went to church with him every Wednesday night, every Saturday night, and every Sunday morning. And then I would sit and talk to the preacher of the church for hours about religion. Voluntarily lived in a mission for 6 months to try and get some answers. I would seek out people of different faiths and sit down and talk with them and try to get answers on where God came from. Is God real? Is an afterlife real? And part of that journey, I guess, back in the day, was me trying to talk to God myself. Sitting in the middle of the woods and saying, openly, out loud, if you're real, then I'll be your biggest bearer. Back then, I'll be your biggest flag bearer. I have obviously changed my position now. Even if he's real, I would never in a million years worship such a God. But back then, I was trying to find answers, right? I was angry about my childhood and the shit that I had gone through. I was angry about some other things in life. I was searching for some answers, and I have spoken to God, or tried to speak to God, on numerous occasions. Zero in response. So are you telling me that God picks and chooses? He chose to answer your prayers, but somebody whose wife is dying on an operating table right now, fuck their prayers. He chose to answer your prayers, but somebody whose child has cancer and is dying, fuck their prayers, right? He answered your prayers, but the prayers of people who are trying to help starving children in Africa, or the prayers of people who are trying to help homeless people in the United States of America, fuck those prayers, right? No, my guy, you experienced a coincidence. If you want to chalk it up to prayer, that's fine. Chalk it up to prayer. But don't walk around talking about how somebody who doesn't believe in prayer is wrong because you experienced a coincidence. If prayer worked, my stepmother would not have died of pancreatic cancer. Some of the most devotedly religious people I have ever met in my entire life were praying day and night for that woman to pull through. Prayer doesn't work. Coincidences are a thing, but prayer does not work.